I'm sorry, we can't do it for that price. But yes, we could do it. Yes, I do negotiate. I do negotiate.
Welcome back to the channel. It's Joel and Sal with Details. Today we're talking about negotiating. So people get the misconception that negotiating is either cutting down the value of you as a business owner. Some people get the misconception that negotiating is also putting you in a lower bracket as far as what the types of services that your business provides. In theory, a negotiation is where both parties are satisfied with the outcome and both parties are at a mutual agreement for a certain price or services that are being rendered. So there's many ways to negotiate. Becoming good at negotiating can be very key and can really help your business, especially in times where maybe you're not seeing an influx of clientele, of new clientele. Maybe maybe it's just kind of, maybe you have bad weather in your area. Maybe it's a bad time of year for the industry. Whatever happens to be your situation, good negotiating skills can take you a very long way. So for instance, we negotiate on a lot of terms. We don't do it a lot of the time. I would say maybe
The situation really dictates. I mean, it's got to be presented for us to.
Exactly. It can't be somebody that's just throwing out a number and we're like, okay, yes, we're gonna do that. Obviously, for us, we're a two-man team. We're extremely efficient. We work really fast and we work really well together. With that said, we've already put ourselves in a position to where we work very quickly. So no matter how big the job, we're gonna get it done rather, in a very time efficient manner. So with that said, all we really have to determine is what we're getting paid per hour for the job. So if it's a low dollar amount and we get it done in 20 minutes, to us, that's not a big deal. If it's a high dollar amount and we get it done in 20 minutes, still not a big deal. But obviously you have to get to that point where you're able to kind of get flexible. If it was just me working by myself, or if maybe my skill set wasn't quite where it is now and I was kind of going on this kind of sliding pay scale, it may not work out for me. But for us, it works out tremendously. We pick up a lot of extra jobs just by adjusting our services for our clients' needs. Sometimes it's services that we don't even provide. We don't do a lot of exterior like wash and waxes. That's not something we really specialize in. But if somebody wants to throw that or put it out there for us and present it to us, and we feel like we can give them a dollar amount that they're satisfied with and we're happy with, and we know we're gonna knock the job out in a half hour, we're totally up for the job. And if it's going to still stand within our average dollar range that we look for and that we strive for as a business, then of course we're going to take on that opportunity that comes to us. There's other examples of maybe low dollar items that maybe a lot of people kind of overlook and don't see quite a bit, but a lot of those can add up. For instance, maybe you're doing 3 headlight restorations, at one location. Some people are like, oh no, I'm not gonna go out to do 3 headlights. If those 3 headlights are $50 or $60 per headlight services, or maybe if it's $75, you may be making more than you would with a standard detail for a lot of guys out there. So a lot of people overlook all of these things. Or sometimes we get clients that say, oh, I just want my seats
right.
I just want my seats shampooed or steam cleaned or extracted, or I want some stains, or just my headliner. And people, I get a lot of clients that come to me and say, hey, nobody else in the area would do this for me. For example, we have a client who we've seen 3 times in the past month that just wanted the front portion of his sedan done. And we did that twice, the front portion, and then we did the back portion. We charged him more because just for us to get out there and do that front portion, we charged him a little bit less than a full detail, but that's all he wanted. So we made sure that we said, okay, we can knock this out in this amount of time. We'll make it worthwhile. We already had other jobs on the schedule, but we were able to squeeze that in because we knew this was a service that was only going to take us about 30 minutes.
Right, and that price was negotiated because we don't offer that, so we had to.
You have to negotiate.
We had to compromise.
Yeah, and sometimes people want certain services that you just don't service a la carte, but if you're able to accommodate that client, you never know what can come of that. You know, it may be ongoing services for them. It may be, you know, additional services that you can add on to the package. You know, for instance, one of the clients that gave us a specific instruction to do their job, he also added on another item and then another item. And, you know, and while we were there, we also negotiated terms on the headlight restoration. You know, and there's a lot of times where people just you run into somebody who just loves to negotiate, who wants a deal.
They won't stop.
Yeah, they will not stop. Like, it doesn't matter to the point of payment. They're still asking, they're still wanting a deal, or they're still wanting more services from you. But I can negotiate with the best of them. So when they come at me, it's kind of like you have to be in a certain mode. You have to be in a game time. You know, you're like, okay, it's game time right now. I gotta get in quick with this. I gotta make sure I'm on top of my game, and I gotta be able to go back and forth with this. And I gotta either offer him some small things for free so he feels like he's getting something out of it, or I can maybe budge a little bit, you know. So another situation is we get to a client's house. We've given a starting price over the phone. Most clients say it's not that bad. But you actually get to the client's house and it's really not that bad. So we get to the client's house, start working on the vehicle. We overlook the vehicle beforehand and we do realize, okay, it really is what he said it was.
It's a clean vehicle.
It's a clean vehicle. It's gonna take us a lot less time. We're talking drastically less time than what it would before. But we have a starting price that we stick to. But the client wants to add on an additional service. It may be an engine cleaning, it may be a one-step polish, it may be... Are you willing, if that client at that point, because this happens sometimes, the client says, hey, if you can give me a small discount, I'd be willing to tack on the polish as well, or the ceramic coating, or some protection, whatever it may be that they're looking for, engine cleaning, leather conditioning, whatever it is, maybe fabric protectant, or you know, coating of the leather, whatever it is. Are you willing to give a small discount to make a lot more money? Some people, it may sound crazy, but some people will leave a job and they won't do the job. They'll leave, you know, like hundreds of dollars like there because they don't want to give a $25 discount.
Because they don't negotiate.
Because they do not negotiate. To me, that's just not good business. Again, if you are working and doing the job and it is within your range in general, why would you leave that just on the table? You know, so there's a lot of work out there that people are leaving on the table because they're not willing to adjust their services. And we don't negotiate flat out. It's usually us making adjustments or, you know, modifications to our service for them, you know. And it may be something as easy as, okay, well, we have no problem doing that, but we're not gonna do the barrels and you're not gonna get any sealant on the vehicle for the exterior. It might be that easy. So now it's just a wash and dry with the face of the tires and the wheels, you know what I mean? But no wheel wells and no barrels. This is and again, these are very, very, very small, maybe like 5%.
Not the norm.
Yeah, maybe 5% of our business. But trust me, these sometimes will add up. There's been times where we've done like 2-3 of these within a week, and they're not small jobs. You know, these add up to quickly being 20% of our income, or maybe even 30% for the week. You know, you never know what's going to happen if you are willing and you have an open enough mind to negotiate and to be creative with the services that you provide and fulfilling the market's needs. So take it into consideration. It's not for everybody. Again, it takes experience, and there's going to be, sometimes, you're on the bad end of the negotiation, but that's how you learn. You're going to do some jobs where, and we all do it, it's just part of business, where you do more work than what you should have done for the price. But you learn from that, and then you move forward. It happens with anything new that you do, whether it be a boat, a horse trailer, RV, certain types of vehicles, that you do, and you kind of throw a price out there, and it ends up being more work than what you were expecting. So don't be afraid to negotiate. It can be a very powerful tool for you, especially when you're negotiating with fleet work. I think fleet work negotiation, I think a lot of people underprice themselves when it comes to fleet work. Even though they want minimal, they still want something. So they still want a service from you. Service only one fleet, and that fleet understands the value that we're bringing to their vehicles. They understand what we're doing for their brand. They understand what we're doing for their vehicles, for the look of their brand, for the presentation of, to their clients and to their customers, and what we're doing for their drivers, because they really appreciate it and they understand what we're doing and the value that we're bringing to them. So the prices were negotiated, and the prices will always have to be negotiated when it comes to fleet work. If they're trying to give you a low number and it's not working for you. The reason we don't do fleet work is because most of the fleets out there are trying to, and we don't do dealership work. We do private dealership work, but they do it on our terms and our pricing. Even with private collections, it's the same thing. When we feel like we're being taken advantage of, or that dollar amount is too low for us, then we're not taking it. That's why fleet work just really isn't in our, it's not something we advertise. And if they're expecting our level of service for their fleet work, it does come with a price tag.
So that's it with negotiation. You can always add services on, take services off. You know your business more than anybody, so you make that call.